Peak fifth graders. Some of you may recognize me. I'm Mr. Dan. You may have had me for garden and science at Capella last year, and I'm sure there's a lot of new students this year. So in a normal year, every Wednesday and Friday you would come out to the garden and we would do garden work out here. But right now we're virtual, so I'm going to be making some videos for all of you. So as we enter the garden, we would normally meet at the tables here. And this garden's unique because this is only for fifth grade. Every year the fifth grade class takes care of this place. So all the wood chips on the ground, all the weeding, all the planting of plants was all done by fifth graders. Now, since you're not here, I have a lot more work to do. So I have to do a lot of the weeding and maintenance here and planting. Because I knew students weren't going to be here, I didn't plant that much this year, but we're going to do a little tour and I'll show you what we did plant. So right here we have a nice healthy zucchini plant and some very large zucchini. Now the zucchini, something like that, might be a little hard to eat for dinner, but you can make zucchini bread out of it. But a nice young zucchini like that is perfect to throw on the barbecue. I really like sunflowers. If you went to Capella last year, you know that because I usually grow sunflowers for every student in the school. These ones got pretty large, especially this one. Check this out. It's the size of my head. So as we walk through here, we also notice that we have a lot of grapes. So these are table grapes, not the kind that you would make wine out of that you normally see in the valley here, but these are big table grapes. These are green ones. We have another plant over there that is red table grapes. This is a strawberry bed. It's just getting started, so there's not a ton of strawberries in it right now. This bed is all, well, let me show you, all cucumbers. And I really like these little cucumbers. They're called lemon cucumbers there. They're really cool. And they're really tasty. Now we also have normal cucumbers, like this kind here. And this cucumber here is the kind you would slice up and throw on a salad, or you can make pickles out of those. We got some tomatoes over here. Some of them are getting ripe already. Those are little guys. We got some bigger ones over here. These are ones I like, the big Brandywine heirloom type tomatoes. In the tomatoes and the jalapenos here, we almost have the makings for some salsa. We just need some onion. We've got some nice, almost ripe watermelons. Now I'll show you really quick how to tell if a watermelon's ripe on the vine. There's two things to look for. Where the stem of the watermelon meets the vine here, there's this little leaf. It's called the spoon leaf. It looks different than the normal leaf of a watermelon. So that's your little spoon leaf. And then you have a tendril that's attached right next to it. This one kind of dried up on the end. I'll show you a better looking tendril. There's a better tendril there. It's all curly-cued like a little pig's tail. Now, when the watermelon's ripe, this little leaf and this little tendril will turn brown. And that, plus the watermelon being heavy, means that it's probably ripe. Now here's a different watermelon, and we can see that the spoon on this one is dried up and brown, but the tendril has not dried up yet. So that one's not quite ripe. But if we look at this one next to it, the spoon is brown. The tendril right here is turning brown. This long tendril here, turning brown. That means this watermelon should be ripe. It's also pretty heavy for its size. I would say it weighs maybe 4 pounds. We have a couple different fruit trees in Eagle Peak Garden, and this one right here is a persimmon tree. Now these persimmons are pretty small this year. Usually they're quite a bit larger, but we have a lot of them. So if I were to go through earlier in the year and remove some of these, I think we would have bigger percent. A lot of us recognize this plant here, or tree rather. It's a peach. So these are peaches. They're not quite ripe yet. This tree actually has 2 different types of peaches on it. We got our garden shed here where we keep our tools, and right next to the garden shed is this big fig tree. Fig tree has really nice leaves, creates a lot of shade, but it also has edible fruit on it. And here's one that's almost ripe. So if you see those little green fruit here, when they start turning purple like that one, they're ripe. And there's a few up high that are purple up there. Now turning around right next to the entrance, we have a Fuji apple tree. These Fuji apples are really tasty, and this year they got quite large, so this tree is doing quite well, and it's not very tall. Fuji apple is pretty short. It's only about as tall as me, 6 feet tall, so it's an ultra dwarf tree. So it won't really ever get that big.